Wow, this is an extraordinary day. You went off road a little bit, and I've got some things I want to say, but I couldn't help but sit there and see you stand up here in front of the community with Liberty Memorial over your shoulder, Union Station over mine, and be reminded about the historical significance of today. This is one of those legacy moments, and I think we're all so fortunate to be sharing it together. I wasn't there at the time of the dedication of the Liberty Memorial, but we've all seen pictures of that day. I think the entire city was out on the lawn. A president came and dedicated it. That was a big moment for Kansas City coming together. We're going to be gathered again in a couple of weeks with the World Cup and on a world stage because of this place. So this is special ground here. You look over at Union Station, you think of its historic significance. The people that came and went to the World War II came back through that station. You think about the significance of the incredible Super Bowl wins that we've had with the Chiefs on that place, things that will always be etched into our collective memories, or the blue that we saw outside of Union Station when the Royals won the World Series. So what John is outlining today is one of those really important moments. It's a personal moment for me and my brother Dave, because my grandfather jumped off the train 115 years ago to make Kansas City his home and place to work. So this city is intertwined with really significant moments, and as we savor this one, I think it's important to be reminded that the enduring success stories of Kansas City, there's a powerful image that emerges. Kansas City has had leaders that have looked to the city as being more than a place to do business. They've invested their hearts, their resources, and their long-term vision. My grandfather, J.C. Hall, and John Sherman are two such leaders, separated by generations and industries, yet united by a shared belief in Kansas City's promise. Today, those visions come together. Standing at this spot, I cannot help reflect on the fact that my grandfather hopped off that train when he was 18 years old to build a business here, only because he had heard people talk about the Kansas City spirit. That's what drove him to Kansas City. He got caught up in that spirit. It fueled his business, creating jobs, nurturing creative talent, and building a company that would grow alongside the city itself. He believed that when you invest in people and place, the return is measured by what you do to make the Kansas City spirit more vibrant for everyone in the community. That same belief is demonstrated by John Sherman's leadership today. His decision to anchor the Kansas City Royals in downtown isn't just about baseball. It's an expression of the Kansas City spirit. It's about economic vitality, creating shared experiences that bring people together. And that very vision of bringing people together to work, celebrate, and connect is what inspired my grandfather and my father, Don Hall, to build Crown Center. When the A's left Kansas City in 1967, downtown was in decline. This entire area where we are standing right now was blighted. Crown Center was conceived out of a desire to make downtown more vibrant. About the same time that the Royals came to Kansas City in 1973, Hallmark was in the early stages of building Crown Center. So now, after almost 60 years of committed focus to this district, Crown Center has become a place for innovative retail, businesses, and a cultural center. It's home to the Irish Festival, October Festival, and our new Hallmark Christmas experience. It offers an expansive square with fountains, ice skating, museum-quality art, green space, and wonderful architecture. Crown Center is also surrounded by some of the most important Kansas City institutions, like Union Station, like Liberty Memorial, like the Federal Reserve, Children's Mercy Hospital, University Health, and Ronald McDonald House. Those are our neighbors. My grandfather always believed a great city depends on having great transportation. Crown Center is centered between I-35, I-670, and Highway 71. It's adjacent to the railroads, to the streetcar, and currently has more than 9,000 parking places just within our 85-acre Crown Center space. The Royal Stadium will take advantage of all this existing infrastructure. John spent the last several years trying to find the best home for baseball. John could have explored other markets. Most owners do. But John never lost sight of what mattered most to him: preserving baseball in Kansas City, strengthening the future of our city, and using the game to bring people together and make memories for generations to come. This new Royal Stadium will be fully integrated into the surrounding community, building on the original vision of Crown Center as a gathering place for all Kansas Cityans. This is exactly where baseball stadiums belong, at the center of our community where everyone can access it. Bringing the Royals downtown requires real commitment, certainly by the city and the state, but by all of us. When John and I talked about the idea of bringing the Royals to Crown Center, I asked him where in this entire district of Washington Square Park and Crown Center would be the ideal place for baseball, and how would it best enhance the entire district and add to our vision of making downtown a better place for Kansas City. After looking at all the options, it was clear that locating it where the Hallmark headquarters is today was the best location. So with John's announcement today, Hallmark is also announcing that our headquarters will be moving to make room for the new stadium. Our buildings have been home to generations of Hallmarkers and some of our most memorable corporate moments since we located there in 1956. While these buildings have served us very well, we are very excited about moving to a newer building that will be even better suited for our work today and into the future. It will be wonderful for our new global headquarters to remain within Crown Center and be part of this vibrant district that we will grow with together. Of course, welcoming a stadium into the neighborhood will bring about change. The Royals and Crown Center will partner together, as John mentioned, to develop a master plan for the entire district. With lots of consultation from our neighbors and building on the great things that are here now, we intend to make it even better in the future. There's an interesting history that the Royals and Hallmark share. John alluded to it. When the Royals came to Kansas City, they adopted the crown that has become one of Major League's most enduring and unmistakably Kansas City icons. That crown was designed by a Hallmark artist. When the new Royal Stadium opens here at Crown Center, the crown will return to the very neighborhood that it was created. Today's announcement reflects the alignment of history, heritage, and vision. It speaks to John's unwavering commitment to keeping baseball in Kansas City, Hallmark's dedication to strengthening the community we love, and the collaborative leadership of the Royals, Hallmark, and local government. Kansas City has always been a place where relationships matter, where people show up for one another, and where pride and community runs deep. My grandfather recognized that. John Sherman recognizes it. Their commitments reflect a shared understanding that when you believe in Kansas City believes back. Their stories remind us that Kansas City's evolution has always been driven by leaders willing to stay, invest, and grow. That's the foundation on which the people of Kansas City will build the next chapter. Today will be remembered for what the Kansas City spirit is, and how John Sherman's decision to bring baseball downtown will benefit Kansas City's future. Thanks, John.